president le ene tautona Donald Trump mme re itse jalo gore hela jaaka tautona boko e tlebelela ntlha buisa yone le khotla la ditšhaba kana the General Assembly ha sa le lene a tlhophiwa jalo jabo la bobedi mme tautona re boko le ene o tla buisa phuthego ya le khotla la ditšhaba e le la ntlha ka la bone ke etsa gore ke ene tlebelela the highlight ya tiro e tona on the political side ya ga tautona boko go soletse jalo gore gone mo puisanong ya ga the General Assembly tota se se tona ke gore a itsise le hatse ka le hatse la Botswana o itse jalo gore morago ga phetogo puso o tla ba jalo a gateletse mo melaetseng kana le maitlamo a masha a isang le hatse la Botswana ko pele re solela jalo gore segolo bogolo anang ko le yone ntlha ya kagiso puso ya batho ka batho le merero ya tota go sireletsa ditshwanelo tsa setho ke tsone tsa di kaileng ha le mono wa le hatse la Botswana ka hatla se ga puso ya gagwe mme jaaka ke ntse ke bua le akantsa supa mo nakong e hitileng ntlha ya tota go amagana puso ka kagiso o se tsa sepile jalo gore o tla tswelela a ntse a gatelela mme a sa gatelele hela go go ikgatla ka le hatse la Botswana o tla ba dira jalo go supa confidence kana go supetsa mahatse ka bophara gore kgaolo ya Afrika le yone e mo semong sa gore e be ha go tla ka ha mererong ya kagiso le thogamo e leng botlhokwa ha go tla ka ha dipeeletsong e mo semong sa gore e be ka go ka be le jwa mo go yone.
Very thank you to Kifule Bokhauzat, of course, that came in yesterday through some of our engagements with the team that is in New York. Let's just speak about this being an opportunity for President Advocate Duma Boko's maiden speech at the United Nations General Assembly. She speaks of the expectations for him to speak around peace, security, and some of those issues. For you, it's been 10 to 11 months with the new government. Of course, we know it's very clear that we are a government that is firmly anchored on human rights. So clearly such issues really speak to that.
Yes, in a big way, yes. I think for President Boko, this is a high-stakes visit. Of course, it will culminate with his speech at the General Assembly. But over and above that, he, I think, will touch on what is very key for Botswana, which has been the peaceful transition from one party to another. I think that's really a highlight for Botswana and for Africa especially. But beyond that, this particular General Assembly comes at a time when Botswana is really experiencing difficult economic times. And we know why that is so. It's because diamonds are no longer selling the way they used to. And America really is where it all happens when it comes to diamonds. And he is really going to use this as a big opportunity for him to reach out, especially to the American people through their leadership. He has already met the Secretary of Commerce, Howard Ludwig, and you can imagine what that means. It's a big thing for Botswana. I think we should be excited as Botswana because what it means is that it's a big opportunity for President Boko to reach out to the Americans around the issues of tariffs. Even if we start selling diamonds tomorrow, as long as the tariffs are there, they are a big hurdle, especially where they are around 37% or so, they say. We want them to come down. And I think really Botswana should be very happy that President Boko has met a very key guy face to face. And this will reach out, I think, is a way to President Trump ultimately.
I think the tariff question, it's not a Botswana conversation, it's certainly a global conversation. But look, you're saying if we look at ourselves and we look at what are our interests, we also see that as we're having those conversations with the Americans, I picked somewhere that yes, it was at 37, now we're talking at around 15% with possibility to even go lower. But as we talk to the Americans, key global partner, we also know that that's a what would say it's a general stance, it's expected, but we also know that there's been a pivot of some sort, where we have seen in the last 11 months that we're looking to other non-traditional partners to come have this conversation around diversification, around beneficiation, job creation, and the like. From a forum like that, meeting 193 other leaders, I'm told there's 150 there, what are the expectations beyond just the tariff and the US?
Yeah, beyond just meeting the political leadership, this is where you meet financiers, where you meet funders, potential people around trade, investors. The New York is where it's happening. The General Assembly is the biggest global gathering of global leadership, so to speak. So it is where it is happening. And if you look the itinerary of the President Boko, he's been very busy meeting all these groups, investors, financiers, funders. Look, because also he gave an interview which was very interesting when he talked about Botswana really being interested in taking controlling stake in DBS. And you can imagine that means the funders, the financiers, Botswana needs money to do that. They will be in New York today. Yes.
Okay. And similarly, when you talk about the big step around DBS and us needing a bigger stake, there's also a conversation that he participated in that is, again, fully talking to trade and really ensuring that we're not just looking at Botswana, but we're looking at intra-Africa trade. There's a conversation around Unstoppable Africa where everyone, I think the president of Namibia was part of that conversation, and they agreed that we need to start looking within and we need to start doing business and really creating seamless synergies amongst African countries. The question would be, how do we stop rhetoric and get to really getting the work done?
Look, the theme around Africa Free Trade Area has really been, for the president, the mantra. He has been repeating it over and over again, basically saying we need to get beyond talking and start doing it, especially amongst the African countries. We need to stop talking and start doing the real thing, which is trading amongst ourselves. I think all African countries are there. They will be talking amongst themselves specifically about what they are doing to break all the barriers, be they tariffs, be they physical, be they the visas and the like. How do you lower those as African countries between ourselves so that intra-trade amongst ourselves can go up? President Boko has been doing it. He did it very well, actually, at a recent SADC meeting in Madagascar. I think he will talking about it in his main speech, which is on Thursday again.
I'm asking you this specifically because what we tend to see is, yes, there's 150 world leaders. Each one is there for the benefit and the interests of their own nations.
Yes.
And while on the other hand, we see the big nations, the likes of your China, your Russia, even the US itself, you would have a US Africa conversation as opposed to a US Botswana conversation. So how do we find a balance, and platforms like these, how do we find a balance and how do they facilitate a balance where, in as much as I'm looking within as a country to my national interest, talking on bilateral conversations, but similarly the African continent is carried alongside those bilateral conversations?
For smaller countries, smaller economies like Botswana, it really makes a big difference to channel our interests through the African Union, which is a much bigger voice. But ultimately, and the president has made it very clear that he will be also speaking specifically about the interests of Botswana, the economy, the reforms, and also life beyond diamonds. I think we should listen to him specifically beyond the meetings that he has addressed. And I'm saying I'm very excited myself because of the meeting with the Commerce Secretary. But we will also be listening very carefully to listen to what he tells the world, what he tells the African countries that are there also, what Botswana's position in the world is. There are bigger issues. Climate change, biodiversity, the economy as we put it, peace and stability. Those are key issues. They are also overarching. But specifically for Botswana, I think he'll be talking about what opportunities the economy of Botswana gives insofar as the incentives for people who want to come and invest here, especially from America. Look, everybody wants the piece of American pie because it is the biggest, it is also the most lucrative economy that you can think of.
Would you say, you gave an example of the peaceful transition and how we package that and position it to the rest of the world. Would you say that would be some sort of a rebrand, and how do we take that position and use it to push for greater reforms within the United Nations, particularly the Security Council?
You know, a peaceful transition between parties is really a big deal insofar as consolidating any democracy. And people across the world, they measure the stability, but also the maturity of a democracy by counting how many times it has happened. If it has not happened, it had not happened for Botswana up until last year, October, people will always have some doubts about whether this is really a true democracy. It is up until they start transition and it happens peacefully that people start to believe that indeed this is a maturing democracy. But over and above that, President Boko has consistently pointed out, which is why Botswana has, over the last few years, especially since that transition, has enjoyed big ratings insofar as people trying to really find out how Botswana is doing it. He has been anchoring his presidency around issues of human rights. All we need is for him to give more meat to this so that people really understand what he means when he says his democracy is going to center around human rights.
Okay. Earlier today, we actually saw Donald Trump on the floor of the General Assembly. And a part of what he was talking about was world peace, but with specific reference to Ukraine and Russia. With the sort of stance we've taken, the foreign policy stance that we have taken traditionally of non-alignment, we are friends to anyone as long as it's in the interest of our nation. What do you foresee happening here if we are driven largely by human rights and there is this crisis and traditionally we're everyone's friend?
I think the path that we have chosen for ourselves, which is to use human rights as the pathway to all around our foreign policy, is the best way. If we find out that there are human rights issues that arise, for example, from Gaza, Botswana will speak out. If there are human rights that arise around the war between Russia and Ukraine, Botswana will speak out. If there are human rights issues in Sudan that Botswana feels strongly about, we can always speak out. And this is not to say we condemn one side against the other or we favor one over other, but we simply point out that the abuse that we see there does not augur well for the human. Okay. For the human race. Sorry. Okay,
and one may also wonder. This is the 80th session. I mean, Botswana has always been attending this type of a session. Beyond that, it is President Boko's maiden speech. What makes it even more special for us as a nation?
The Botswana has always been a part of the United Nations. This particular one comes when the United Nations itself is having serious challenges. Botswana itself has a new president. He's going to obviously speak to tell the world what Botswana has to offer. And we are known as a small country that has always been punching above its weight. We should be excited, and people really want to hear what this new guy who has just come in, what does he have to offer the world? I think people will really be excited to hear what he has to say. Okay. The world always listens to Botswana one way or the other.
I think from a foreign policy perspective, it's something I tried to get with you just before we came on air, that we've always had a traditional stance of, we are known to be with the West, the US, the UK, the EU to some extent, and to China to a greater extent. But we find ourselves looking to the UAE in the last 11 months over a number of issues. From a foreign policy perspective, what does that say? Does it show a shift, or we are just diversifying friends?
I see it is more as a diversification of this pot of friends. We are going to where we see opportunity. We don't dictate to countries that do business with us on how they should run their own countries. I see it as government seeing an opportunity in the Gulf, especially from the perspective of financiers, potential money coming there into here. Because look, whether we like it or not, the Middle East is growing very fast. The Gulf countries are some of the fastest, especially Qatar. So we cannot, for where we are with our economy, afford to ignore what is happening in the Gulf. For us to be there in a big way, especially led also by the president, I think it makes us to be where everything is happening. We are not saying we are going to adopt their policies. Many of them are kingdoms. Okay. We are a democracy, so we should not be worried about where they are taking their own directions.
Okay, thank you so much for
Thanks very
helping us understand why this is all important to certainly to us as a country, but of course to the President Advocate Duma Boko. We were speaking to Spencer Mohapi about President Boko's maiden speech that is expected to come on a Thursday, and of course some of the conversations that he's having on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly's 80th session. Up next, we are going into the address, like I said earlier on, that is being made by the Minister for State, President Re Amweti Muhasa, addressing the nation about what I do believe are important issues.
Thank you.
ga se tshola ke gore ke keletso ya me gore batswana ba ineele mo thapelong ka gore seemo se re le mo go sone gompieno ke se se sa tlhaloganyesegeng tsotlhe hala ke tse di sa tlhaloganyesegeng mo go rona re le bagolo le mo go bone banana go lebega gore gone